There we go. Okay, awesome sauce. If you guys can't tell, if you're watching on TikTok, we have a new live stream format. If you're watching on YT, we still have the same old format. I spent till about 3 o'clock this morning staying up and testing streams out and kind of working some stuff out, making the stream look a little bit more visual. So hopefully you guys can see a little bit better on TikTok now instead of it being like a stretched out screen and kind of being a little wonky looking. I thought it would be a little bit easier this way and not so conjumbled up. So if you like the full screen version, you guys can head over to my YT channel. We're live on there as well. But hopefully you guys will be able to see everything a little bit better now. So I want to go ahead and get into weather updates. It's been a little bit since we've had a live stream. I've been posting some videos today. I just posted one a few minutes ago. So if you want to check that out after, you guys can. Welcome in, everybody. I think we got, I can't even tell how many people we have. Let me pull the stream up on my phone because I have to get used to doing it this way again, which is completely fine with me. Give me 2.5 seconds. I do appreciate y'all for hopping in here. We're going to do some winter weather update. We've got a lot of snow for a lot of people. We're going to see a lot of snow for a lot of people here over the next couple of days. And then going into next week as well. So I do appreciate you guys for joining in as always. If you're watching on both sides, thank you. Just I said, hope you guys are doing well. And we'll go ahead and start out here with what's going on across the map here. We've got lots of winter weather advisories there in the purple. Lots of winter storm warnings in the pink there. I'm actually going to go ahead and turn this off for just a second so you guys can see. There we go. These are our warnings and advisories that are out. So if you're in a purple box, most of y'all should know where you live at on a map. If you're in a purple box, you are in a winter weather advisory. Typically that's for about 1 to 3 inches of snow. And then we've got for our main event here across the Midwest and Ohio Valley, we've got winter storm warnings basically from Green Bay all the way to Sioux Falls, pretty much all of Iowa, Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Davenport, Chicago, all the way down here to central Illinois and Indiana. Now, I'm not as lucky as you guys are. I don't get any of this snow. I'm like 2 hours south of all this, and I'm a little bit bummed, but it's okay. You guys are going to probably honestly see some of the biggest snowfall amounts you guys have probably seen in quite some time. We're not talking like an itty-bitty little winter storm. We're talking like a foot of snowfall for a lot of people here, especially across this region right here. I do think 12 to 18 inches of snow is very, very possible here across eastern and central Iowa, western portions of Illinois, central Illinois. Could even see some higher pockets maybe up here along the lakes here, especially on the eastern side of Wisconsin and western side of Michigan, where we do in fact see heavier bands of snowfall set up. So that's going to be really dependent on where our low tracks and all of that stuff, and we'll be tracking that in real time for you guys as always. So also, like I said, guys, I've got the weather team in here as well, trying to answer as many questions as I can. I know sometimes these streams can get a little bit hectic, so like I said, just make sure y'all are paying attention in chat. If you get your question answered, that's what they're here for. So but like I said, guys, this is not going to be the only snowstorm. We literally have another one literally coming in on Monday and Tuesday. May cause a little bit more ice, may not be over the same areas, but a lot of the same areas are going to get multiple rounds of winter weather as we head into really the next couple of weeks here. We're basically entering, if you guys follow Connor, a great friend of mine, he's actually live right now, I think, too. But he talks a lot in his streams about the MJO phase, our Major Julian Oscillation. We are getting ready to enter a phase 8, which is basically like the highest, like in terms of like how cold it can get. It's basically, we've got a stratospheric warming event ongoing up in the Canada area, up in the Arctic, and that's basically collapsing and kind of moving around our jet stream, and it's pulling all this cold air down out of Canada, and we're really going to see this pattern in place for the next 2 to 3 weeks, where we just see cold, and any type of moisture that works up out of the Gulf or a storm system that comes out of Canada or the west coast is really going to result in lots of snow potential for, you know, the Tennessee Valley, Ohio Valley, the Northeast. So if you don't get snow this week, you may get snow in the future, and we'll continue to keep you guys updated and talk about that here. Like I said, I do want to go ahead and start out here with our radar here. This is the overall radar here. I'm going to go ahead and turn on winter weather. This is like our first winter weather like update that we've done really in time, like real time here. So we got heavy snowfall falling from Bismarck all the way down here to Des Moines. This is the snow right up in here. The darker purples here, heavy band snowfall moving in here. This is a huge storm system, guys. Huge upper level low that is just kind of spinning here. Sadly, if you're down into Missouri, Kansas, you're not going to get snow. You're going to be on the warmer side of things where temperatures are going to be above 32 degrees. Sadly, in western Kentucky, where we're at, this first go around here, we're not going to see any snowfall from this. We're going to be right along that 34 to 35 degree temperature line tomorrow. So if you're in western Kentucky, southern Missouri, central Missouri, eastern Missouri, over towards like all of Kentucky, this go around we won't have anything. But next week, we may have something. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. But I do think the higher areas that I am most concerned about for higher snowfall, like I mentioned a few moments ago, is more than likely, I'm going to draw a little circle in here. these are the areas that I think are going to see higher totals, and really all model agreement suggests and shows this. I think, like I said, central and eastern Iowa, over a foot. Des Moines, you're probably going to get over a foot of snowfall. Cedar Rapids, more than likely over a foot of snowfall. Davenport, over a foot. Chicago, we're probably going to get close to that threshold once again, not like you guys have already seen that. And then we got to really watch how things play out in central Illinois, central Indiana. Indianapolis is going to be around a half a foot to 10 inches maybe. Fort Wayne, South Bend. So, but if you want the higher snowfall totals, somebody's going to probably get 18 inches of snow in here. It's just kind of my thought process on this. This is just when I look at this, and I've been looking at trends all day and just kind of looking at how things potentially could go, and it looks like someone's going to probably get 18 inches of snow. So if you're over in, let's see here, back up here to like Wyoming, this is continuing to show snowfall here. We've got an upper level system up here coming out of Canada. We'll continue to see snowfall across this area where we've just basically got widespread cold air. So the colder it is, and the longer it stays cold, the better chance we're going to have of snow happening. So Cincinnati, I hate to say this, you guys are going to be right on that line. So right along the Ohio River, if you're sadly down in these areas right here, probably not going to see anything. You might see some snowflakes fly early tomorrow morning, but we're going to be above 32 degrees at the surface and aloft in the atmosphere, so this area is not going to see really any winter weather this weekend on this go-around. Sadly, I'm included in that, so I don't get to enjoy, I could drive 3 hours up the road and probably see a foot of snowfall, but it's just not going to happen down here, at least on this go-around. Now, next week, I think that'll change potentially just a little bit, and we'll talk about that, like I said, here in a moment. But you can already see where the rain is coming in out here, the snow transitioning over St. Louis. I think you guys, St. Louis kind of sits in an interesting spot. I'm going to check what the advisory is for. Yeah, so 2 to 4 inches of snow. I've seen some models, if temperatures can stay below 32 degrees a little bit longer, I've seen some of the blended models show like 5 or 6 inches plus. So we'll see how things play out at the end of the day. It's, you guys know as much as I know, it is ridiculously hard to forecast snowfall, especially over long duration periods of time. I could sit here and give you guys numbers all day long, and it's going to more than likely change, and some areas will underdo, some areas will overperform. It's just really, how long do you see heavy banding of snow set up? How long do you stay below 32 degrees? All of that stuff, etc. Good news is, on this go round, we're not really going to see too much of any ice or sleet anywhere. That's something to note. So we'll talk more about that here in just a minute. But once again, that heavy snowfall really coming down here across Des Moines, across northern and central Iowa here. All this blue popping up here, or this purple. This is where we're going to see those higher snowfall totals already starting to come down out here. And like I said, this is where we're going to see at the end of the day most of that snowfall at. So let me go ahead and switch over here to, I've got some new things that I've got to switch to, so bear with me guys for 2.5 seconds here. I'm gonna all right, let's see if this fixes it. Yeah, like I said, we've got some new stuff that I'm working on here in terms of the streams, so y'all gonna have to bear with me as I like jump to things. So isn't this just normal winter for the Midwest? Yes, but we haven't really seen, I would be honest with you guys, and I say this, the last 5 to 6 years, we really haven't had a lot of major winter storms. We've had hit or miss storms come through, but we haven't really had like a big winter where we've had back-to-back snowstorms really across this region here. It's been a while, and I can speak for, because my significant other lives here. She's lived here for all of her life, and she can tell you the same thing. There's just not, it's been inconsistent is the word I'll use. So the Northeast, you guys have also lacked in blockbuster snow events. The Nor'easters that you guys typically get also have been lacking. So this pattern that we're going to be in really through the next 2 to 3 weeks helps set that up. Doesn't mean you're going to get anything, but it does help set it up. And on top of that, let me get this fixed here. On top of that, we're going to see more cold air as soon as we go into January and into February as well. So that'll kind of keep things, like I said, going there. Where is, I thought I put this up on here and I did not. Hold on guys, give me 2.5 seconds here. I thought I fixed my stream overlay setup here. You're gonna have to bear with me for 2 seconds. We're working out some new stuff today is what we're doing. Okay, we're just gonna do it this way. I think this will be, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, as I was saying here, here's the time frame. Let me go to the latest 18Z. Let's go to the 18Z Her, because this is gonna be a little bit easier, and we'll walk through each model run and kind of talk about the thought process on what we're gonna be seeing here with this. But as of right now, like I said, timing of snowfall, most of this is gonna be falling this evening and tonight when you guys are all sleeping. So you're gonna probably wake up tomorrow. If you're in Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, most of this snowfall is already gonna be on the ground by the time you guys wake up tomorrow. And like I said, this is heavy wet snow, so it's going to accumulate quick. We're going to see those totals add up quick. This isn't going to be like a little flurry every once in a while or anything like that. This is like heavy wet snow. It's coming down. Like it's a mountain quickly. So this is going to be early through tomorrow morning, and then we go through tomorrow afternoon. Like I said, down here where the warm nose is kind of sticking in, this is what I call the warm nose, where we have 32-degree plus temperatures kind of south of our snow here. This is, well, Missouri, you're going to have a little bit of a rain, sleet, snow mix. The sleet could mix in and around St. Louis, which is probably why the totals are going to be a little bit lower. But if you're up here, this is mostly going to be an all heavy wet snow event for most people across that region, except for, you know, southern Illinois, eastern Missouri, down towards Kentucky. This is not going to go down toward the southeast or anything. This is going to stay in the Ohio Valley, and then it's going to go east, and then we get this thing into Michigan. We get this thing as it weakens up into the northeast. So this is going to be a pretty impactful storm, guys. Like I said, and this is like the day after Thanksgiving. So people want to travel, people want to get back home. Good luck. Be safe is what I have to say. I would never want to drive through this type of an event. Also taking a look here at our wind gusts. This is also very important because, you know, blizzard conditions potentially could set up here and there occasionally for some people, even though there's not, you know, blizzard warnings out. We've got, you know, wind gusts here potentially around 30 to 35 miles per hour. So take a pile of snow 5 or 6 inches high and you put 35 mile per hour winds up against it. That snow's going to blow, and then you're going to be able to, you know, visibility is going to be reduced, all of that. It's gross. It just makes it really gross out there, and it's not going to be fun to want to drive in. So it's fun if you're outside, but not fun if you're, you know, wanting to drive. And on top of that, our temperatures, guys, are going to be well below 32 degrees, especially up here. So I don't see the snow really melting at all either. So that's also something good to see. The snow will kind of stick around for a little bit because we'll have cold snaps of air, you know, kind of moving and continuing to move down. So that's something that we look at here in terms of, you know, the snowfall impact. In terms of wind gusts, as this winter storm cranks up, especially early tomorrow, look at these wind gusts, guys. 40+ mile per hour winds in central Illinois and eastern Iowa. That's where I could see the potential. Technically, blizzard conditions are 50 to 55. You want to see that consistently with, you know, I think it's visibility reduced to a half, was it a 10th or a quarter of a mile, something like that. This is still going to be gross to drive. And like I said, so if you had a chance to stay home a couple extra days or stay with your family a couple extra days, I know people have to work, well, some people have to work, just take the weekend off and spend some extra time with the family, because this is not something you're going to want to drive in, and especially as this low deepens and we see our pressure drop a little bit more and our wind barbs kind of close in a little bit more, we're going to see some higher wind gusts as well as we head into Indiana and into Ohio. Lesser totals as the storm goes further east because the moisture is going to kind of run out just a little bit here. But like I said, this is, like I said, still going to be a very impactful storm, and I do see people still going out and driving in it and just not paying attention. It always happens every time we get a winter storm. So once again, something, you know, just something to watch out for. Just be careful if you guys are out and about there. In terms of our temperatures, as I mentioned, you know, where's that 32-degree temperature line set up at? And like I said, you know, down into Kentucky, southern Illinois, you know, it's not going to snow, sadly, tomorrow. We're going to see temperatures below 32 degrees, but you can see what I was mentioning here earlier. I'm going to show you guys this here. This is very important when it comes to looking at snow. This is your 32-degree temperature line kind of right in here. Well, it's below, or where it's above 32 degrees, rain, very cold rain across Missouri tomorrow. And then right where your temperatures are below 32, so basically this whole entire area up in here, that's why it's going to be all that heavy wet snow. It's just, where does that 32-degree temperature line set up? And so, you know, you may see some snowflakes fly across western Kentucky tomorrow morning, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, but I don't see it accumulating. And the reason why that is because, look at this. Half of the Ohio Valley is going to be above 32 degrees tomorrow, and then the other half is going to be below. So, like I said, you may even see some snow melt slightly in southern Iowa. I don't know how well that's actually going to happen because we're still going to be floating around 33 to 34 degrees. But you can even see the difference down here, like southern Illinois, southern Indiana, like Cincinnati, for instance. That's why you guys are not any advisories or any winter storm warnings, because you're going to be well above 32 degrees here. You may think 35 degrees. It may blow snow, but it's not going to stick on surfaces because it's not that 32 degrees or lower. So that's the thing about it, guys. It sucks when you're looking at winter weather and you're trying to forecast snowfall, as if it's, you know, doesn't look like it's going to be at 32. You can basically throw the model runs out that are showing that stuff because it's mostly a bunch of mumble jumble. So and then as we go through the day tomorrow, like I said, we may actually even see some rain sneak in. As you can see, temperatures climb potentially into the 40s down here. We may even see some rain sneak in where snow has happened all day tomorrow, especially as we go through tomorrow evening. And then eventually, like I said, as you know, the temperatures drop again, we'll see another plunge of cold air. And this is where that really cold air comes in, guys. Look at this. You're going to be waking up Sunday morning warning across Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, pretty much the whole Midwest in the teens and potential single digits. So you're going to have about a foot of snow on the ground, and you're going to want to go outside and shovel it and play in it, and this is what you're going to wake up to Sunday morning is single digit and teens for temperatures. Not ideal to be outside in longer than 30 minutes, and especially with the wind out there as well, wind chills are going to probably be well below 0 degrees. So that makes that's what makes this a dangerous winter storm. Not that, like we're getting 30 or 50 inches of snow or anything like that, but you're getting about a half to a foot of snowfall. You're bringing in gusty winds of up to potentially 50 miles per hour associated with this at times. And then on top of that, you got people driving. That's always an issue. Icy roads, icy bridges, all that stuff. I don't think anybody's going to probably have school in the Midwest on Monday. Somebody will probably get a day off on Monday. But like I said, this is going to be some gross stuff here. All right, let's go ahead and talk totals. I know people want to see totals. I know y'all are probably tired of me yapping and going ballistic here. Let's go ahead and look at this. Let's do 10-to-1 ratio totals here because this is mostly going to be falling as snow, and some of you guys may look at this map and you may not believe it, but it's legit. This is where I do think 8 to 16 inches of snowfall is where we're looking at here. And then outside of that here in the purple, 6 to 10, 6 to 12. So, 6 to 10 inches up in here. So there you guys go. Pretty decent snowfall totals here for much of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley. Sadly, I don't get to see any of this. Once again, I'm kind of bummed. This is not going to be a little baby winter storm, guys. This is a big time winter storm. This is not like you're going to get 3 or 4 inches of snow and it's going to melt. This stuff's going to hang around for a good bit of time once it's done and it's fallen. And then on top of that, we may be welcoming in another system, multiple systems next week behind this, with that cold air still being in place. So unlike the last couple of years in the Ohio Valley and the Midwest, where we typically enter December with typically mild temperatures, we've not really had a lot of snow in these areas the last couple of years. Here you go. This is your chance. Build a snowman. Happy welcome in December. 3 weeks away from Christmas. Almost 3.5 weeks away from Christmas. This is really going to set that stage for people that like snow. If you don't like snow, I'm sorry. There's not much I can do about it. So there's not much we can do. Outside of that, though, I do think some higher pockets of 8 to 12. You can see Chicago might actually be right around here, around 10 to 12 inches. So some higher pockets elsewhere. But this is what we're looking at. In terms of ice, I don't think we're really going to see any ice secretion on this go around. We may see a glaze down here towards southeastern Nebraska. But other than that, I don't see too much of an issue. Now, there are some more bullish models out there. I don't like to use the NAM. It's awful. Just taking a look at like our global models here, for instance, just so you guys can kind of get an idea at this first one, and then we'll talk what potentially next week could look like. The GFS is also right in range with this. This is the GFS through Monday, and like I said, we don't really have any model runs that don't show a significant winter storm here across the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. It's going to be a major storm. This has been checking out. We've been talking about this for the last couple of days now, so this is going to bring a lot of significant impacts for a lot of people. And like I said, it doesn't help that this is happening literally the day after Thanksgiving. That's your latest GFS run. I'll go back to that here in a second, and we can look at the new stuff coming in a minute. And then the Euro, slam dunk as well. So I think the odds of most all of Iowa, most all of Illinois is going to see 8 to 12 inches of snow, if not higher pockets of that. So it's just really all dependent on where that heavy banding sets up. So like I said, y'all, it's the weekend. You can get out about a snowman. Yeah, it'll be a great weekend. So outside of that, let me look at some questions here. I've got the chat is flying, so I appreciate you guys. Really quick, does everybody like the new setup on TikTok? Does it look better? Because if you've been watching the streams before, we were like long ways like YouTube is. Now we're vertical. Do you guys like it better? Let me see what you guys think. I'm gonna wait for some comments here. Much better. I'm thinking you guys can see. I was thinking you guys could see it a little bit better. I'm hoping. Okay, awesome. Let me get some questions answered here, and then we'll switch over to what we're going to look at for next week. This is just going to be a brief little update for you guys here. Like I said, we're not going to do like coverage or really anything like that because it's just snow. There's not really much to cover other than it's going to snow. Layout is better. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate it. All right, let's see here. Comments are literally flying. Let's see. Indianapolis. I'm just going to do it this way. Right now with the blend, let me go back to, I think the NWS blend is a little bit, yeah, that's not going to happen. See, this is why usually the National Weather Service blend usually does pretty good. This is volatile. There's no way. There's no way. Absolutely not. That's insane. Yeah, we're not gonna use that model. That's not accurate. We'll come back to that. If that actually verifies, we'll have a chat later. Let me go back to the 18Z here. Yeah, Indianapolis, I believe when I last checked for you guys sit in an interesting spot, okay? Depending on how cold you get, if you don't hit 32 degrees at the surface, then you're not going to get anything. Right now, 1 to 3 inches. Right now, 1 to 3 inches in Indianapolis is kind of my thought process. But in a situation where you get below 32 degrees and you stay there longer, you could see more than that. So that's kind of like you're on that snow threshold line. I'll get to the Northeast here in just a second. Tulsa, Oklahoma, you guys aren't going to be seeing anything, just rain. Yeah, I'll get to PA here in just a moment. Michigan, most of Michigan, 5 to 8 inches with higher pockets of 10 to 12 in here. I would honestly go 8 to 12 here, and then outside of that here, from like Detroit up, probably 1 to 3. So 8 to 12 for most of the area here. And then, like I said, you guys should be able to see where you're at on a map and kind of get an idea here. But at least on the latest her model run, this is more of like 12 to like 20 inches of snow through here. So that's most of Iowa. That's a lot of snow, guys. Chicago, right about 10 to 12 inches of snow potentially is what I've kind of been seeing trends with. Yeah, happy late Thanksgiving, you guys too. Me and Rochelle had a pretty nice Thanksgiving yesterday. She ended up cooking all day. It was nice. Yeah, like I said, a lot of people are going to get a foot of snowfall. Very, very, very likely for a lot of people. So this is like that one event, like the first event, but the one event. And if you guys have been watching the channel for the last couple of weeks, I've been saying, hey guys, wait till we get to December. We're going to have some big time snow with our La Nina pattern setting up. And here comes our first one getting ready to verify. So I absolutely love that for everybody that likes snow. Nebraska, if you're in eastern Nebraska, you're going to get about 3 to 5 inches of snow. It depends on where you're at. Also on the state line here, we're looking at about maybe up to a foot potentially. If you're over in western and central Nebraska, we're looking at more of like 1 to 3 inches. So, most of Minnesota, like I said, and most of Wisconsin, I'll do some more drawing here so you guys can kind of get an idea, because it's really hard to like answer specifically. 1 to 3 in the light to dark blue. Like I said, here we're looking at about 12 to, I would just go 18 inches. And then outside of that there in the purple is usually about 6 to 12. And then the light blue down here, you got like 1 inch to a dusting, maybe, if you're lucky down here. So if that helps everybody, in terms of locations, you guys want to screenshot that, you can have that for later. Is Colorado ever going to get snow? When we get a system that comes off the coast of California and it's cold enough, yeah. So, all right, if everybody's good with that, I'm going to go ahead and head over to the Northeast real quickly here, and we can talk about that. And then I want to go ahead and hit on our next system that's coming in on Monday. The next one's really confusing, so just kind of a heads up on that one, guys. The next Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, we could have a big ice event, which has been a trend here. In terms of the latest model, not going to see a lot, guys, on this go round. You may get lucky for some heavy banding snow in the Great Lakes. This is not going to be a big system for the Northeast. At least this weekend's is not. Next weekend may be different, or next week may be different, but you got a casual 1 to 3 inches of snow up in here, and then, you know, a couple of pockets of 3 to 5 up in here. So it's not going to be a big one for the Northeast. It's going to stop in the Ohio Valley. The low's going to move to the north, and then we'll see back basically northwesterly flowing snow on the backside. So like I said, it's not going to be anything like significantly crazy or anything like that. So now let's talk globally, right? Because this is where I want you guys to be paying attention at. All right, we're going to go to the latest GFS, and then we'll show the Euro, because both do show this. Here is our system for next week, like I said, or for early next week, I should say, Sunday to Monday. We got this low moving off. There goes our snow. Really, really cold air plunging down here. We've got moisture coming down. Funny enough story, our low is actually going to develop down here. We're going to have all of our moisture sent up out of the Gulf. And here we go. Once again, this is going to be on Monday and Tuesday of next week. So not even 3 days after. Not even 2 to 3 days after y'all get blasted with snowfall here this weekend, we're going to have another event. But my problem is going to be the heavy rainfall and the flooding down here. We're going to have an ice event along the Ohio River, more than likely, with then snow mixing in afterwards, and then more than likely an all-snow event up here. So this is going to be a mess next week. Unlike we're getting lucky this week where most people are getting all snow, there's going to be some ice accretion next week, and that's going to cause power lines. That's going to cause tree branches. I know, Katie, I literally was already thinking about you the second I saw that on the models yesterday. I was like, Jesus, this is not fun. But the good news is this is not going to be a very long icing event, and this system actually comes in on Monday afternoon. Mostly starts as rain by the temperatures dropping Monday night into Tuesday morning. Snow across Missouri, so you're not getting snow in southern Missouri this go around. You're going to probably get some snow on Monday into Tuesday, and then this system moves out literally in 48 hours. I mean, it comes in Monday night, comes through Tuesday, and then it's gone by Tuesday afternoon. It's not going to last that long. So the good thing is, though, this looks to be heavy snow wherever this does set up. And then, like I said, there's going to be some ice and some freezing rain. So we're going to have to watch model trends for this. This is going to be a system that, like, I literally have to watch 24/7 because a shift with a low, a shift with moisture, a shift with cold air being in a certain place makes totals different than what some models are showing. So that's why we have to just be watching this very closely. And then after that, if we really want to take a look at next week, I mean, we are just going to be cold, guys. It is going to be very, very cold across this area. I don't really expect any snowfall to melt unless you're outside shoveling it or putting ice melt or anything else on it. It's just going to be really, really cold, especially as we go towards the end of next week. And then after that, like I said, more uncertainty, but maybe another winter storm after that next weekend. I'm not really paying attention to that right now because that's in La La Land, but you guys can see what's on the table. So in terms of ice, I do want to just take a brief look at this because this has been trending, and I think we have just enough at least consistency for the trend to kind of look at the ice accretion here across the Ohio Valley next week. It's not really, really bad, but you can see some pockets of a tenth to about maybe a quarter of an inch in here. It takes a tenth of an inch of ice, guys, to cause power lines to snap and tree branches to fall. So take that into consideration. That's 0.01. Sorry, 0.1, not 0.01, 0.1. So that would be Monday night into early Tuesday morning is when this would be. The good news is if you were in this area last year, we had a significant ice storm that came through. This is nowhere near that bad. And me and Rochelle and half of our weather team went through that last year. This is nowhere near that. So then in terms of the snowfall, take this also with a grain of salt, but this is snowfall through, we'll just do it through next Thursday. So interestingly enough, we'll watch for Southern Kentucky. Right now, the trends do keep most of this snow around the Ohio River Valley with a little bit of ice mixed in. This is just going to be a really, really complicated forecast to nail until we get a little bit closer to it. So we're pretty confident on this weekend. It's just next week. So that's pretty much what I've got there. And then, like I said, looking at the Northeast next week, just so you guys can kind of get a little snow hype, because I know some of y'all want the snow hype. This will be through next week. Right now, the GFS model keeps most of it to the north here. It keeps most of it away from our major cities, but you do have hope. You do have hope. I'll talk about why that is here. Let's go take a look at the European model from this afternoon, because I believe the Euro also did a little bit of an uptrend. Let's see here. Also, guys, my weather team is trying to answer the questions as best as they can in the chat, so please be patient and respectful. Don't spam. You'll get muted and blocked. I see people saying, oh, you lost my follow, that's great. Like I said, we're here to give weather information. I'm trying to get through this before I answer questions with you guys, so just be patient, please, okay? Anyways, like I was saying, though, European model here, at least the new 18Z. Yeah, so it actually, the Euro likes colder air being in place and has an all-snow event for western and central Kentucky, and then eventually we'll see some snow move up through the Ohio Valley in the Northeast, and then keeps most of the ice to the south and rain. I do think one thing is going to happen. We're going to get a lot of heavy rain in the Southeast. I think that's a slam dunk at this point. Most of the models and the ensembles have a heavy rain event down here in the Southeast. That's something we're going to have to watch, and then a little bit lesser of snowfall compared to the GFS, but it does show it. So, once again, trends are going to be something we have to watch here. It's very, very difficult to figure that out. And then the Euro actually wants a little bit of a warm-up next week compared to what the GFS has. So, we'll pay more of attention on that as we head towards, I would say by Saturday or Sunday we'll have a little bit, or tomorrow night into Sunday we'll have a little better idea on what Monday and Tuesday is going to be. So, I know. I want the jet stream to go south too. I hate it. I hate it for you guys. This would be a huge snow event for everybody in the deep south as well if we were to get that cold air down there because of all the moisture that's coming out. I mean, typically when you want to get a blockbuster snow event for the southeast, and this happens, you guys had it last year, you want to see that jet stream dip all the way down, and you want to see that moisture get sprung up out of the Gulf. And just right now, we're not seeing that quite yet. Our jet stream is going to be dislodged up here instead of further down to the south, and that moisture is going to get transported in terms of rain down to the southeast, and then the snowfall up in the Ohio Valley in the northeast. So until we can get that jet stream to really get yanked all the way down south, and I do think, going into end of December and January is typically when we see that happen at. That's something that we're going to have to watch, but right now just doesn't really look like that's going to really be our thing, or at least our best friend going through the next couple of days here. So we'll keep you guys updated on that there. In terms of what our jet stream's doing, I think I know tomorrow we have a little severe weather threat in Houston, Texas. We have a little all hazards tornado, wind, and hail threat in Texas tomorrow. So I'll talk about that here in just a minute as well before we wrap up stream. But there's our jet stream. As long as you have this northwesterly flow, really dipping down here out of Canada, severe weather is going to be mute except for tomorrow because we have a cold front coming through. It keeps just cold air. I mean, you guys can see this. This is just a dislodged stratospheric warming event where our jet stream just continues to pull down and pull down and pull down. And the sad thing about it, like I said, is we're just not getting a full jet stream connection all the way down to the southeast with moisture coming out of the south to make this a true southeast event. And that's why it's mostly going to be rain. So I will say, as we go towards January, that can definitely change, but right now this whole thing just doesn't look to be in favor of you guys down there. So it's definitely cold enough, but the moisture is not there on this go round. So sadly, that's just how it's going to have to play out at this point. And then, like I said, here's our temperature anomalies, well below average going into this coming up weekend here. There it is. I mean, that's 15 to 20 degrees below average. This is why it's going to snow again. And then as we head towards next week, that cold air stays in place. Another blast of cold air coming down. This is where I think, we may even have some little wintry weather up in the northeast next week. And then after that, things get a little bit uncertain on what's going to happen. We may see a little bit of a warming trend as we head towards maybe the middle of the month. So lots of things to watch out for, guys. It's going to be a busy weekend. It's going to be a busy week next week. So we'll be keeping you guys updated. I'll be doing little streams here and there, keeping y'all updated. Make sure y'all pay attention to the videos. I post a lot more videos than live streams, especially during winter weather season, or storm, whatever you want to call it, during winter, just because it's easier for me to get out, and it's a little bit more difficult to just kind of sit on a live stream all day and like give out radar coverage for winter weather. I'll do it occasionally when we need to do it, but I'm getting ready to start school in 30 days, and so is Rochelle. So I will be she'll be full-time in school, and I'll be taking a calc class. So we both go back to school in literally 30 days. And then on top of that, the kiddos keep us busy. So, yeah, like I said, we'll see how things play out. Once again, here is what we're looking at now on the radar. Here's our heavy snowfall moving through Iowa right now, getting into Illinois. So, no, Ro is not going for meteorology. I would absolutely love that. She's going for her business degree. So she's going to help on all of the business side of things for our weather team and outside of that. So, which is some pretty cool stuff. By the way, if you guys have not headed over to my YT channel and subbed to me on there, consider doing that. I post completely different videos, longer, more in-depth discussion videos on my YT channel than I do on TikTok. So if you like those longer discussion videos, make sure y'all head over there. That's where we do that, and we're also live on there as well. And you guys have it a little bit more in full screen over there. So try to take whole stuff there. Do you think it'll snow in Oklahoma next week? I don't see Oklahoma snow anytime soon. I don't, sadly. Sadly, I do not. It just doesn't look like it's going to be cold enough, or the cold air is not going to line up with our moisture, at least as of right now. That can change, but at least as of right now, no. Yeah. So it's going to snow this weekend pretty much in all of Michigan. We just got to wait for our snow event to get there. It's going to have to work its way across the Kansas here, so... yeah, St. Louis is difficult. It really is. They've got you guys, St. Louis, you're in the winter weather advisory for 1 to 3 inches of snowfall. Sorry, 2 to 4 inches of snowfall. And then just to the north of you, they're going to end up picking up way higher amounts. So if for some reason we do have models that do show well higher amounts than that, if we can get those 32-degree temperatures to just kind of hang around a little bit longer, or to, push a little bit further to the south, which can happen, absolutely. Snow helps cool the atmosphere down a little bit more as well. We could see that higher in total happen. So we'll just, like I said, have to see how things play out. So Also, guys, if you're not in my Discord, go in my Discord. I would love to see y'all snow reports and snow pictures. And tomorrow when we get on here, I will start showing those in the Discord. So if you're not a part of my Discord, the link is in my bio to do that. If it doesn't work, I can fix it, but it should work. I would love to see all snow pictures. I want to see very much, because I'm jealous, because I'm not getting any of this, at least until next week, and it may not even be a lot of it. So, yeah, I want to see that stuff. All right, really quickly, I do want to hint on severe weather for tomorrow briefly, because this is important. We do have a little marginal risk tomorrow for southern, south central Texas, western Louisiana, and southwestern Arkansas. You're like, oh, snow to the north, severe weather to the south. Yep, pretty much. That's just, once again, how it plays out. But we do have, once again, a level 1 risk out of 5 for that severe weather potential. There is a 2% tornado risk, literally in the same exact areas as last week, where we had those 2 tornadoes in and around Cypress, Texas. We had an EF1 and an EF2 last week there in those areas. Once again, 2% tornado risk. Again, timing looks to be late tomorrow evening after 6 p.m. and going to the overnight hours. So I'll be on standby for tomorrow night. If we have any warnings or anything, we'll hop on stream and we'll cover that tomorrow. So that'll be the game plan then. Houston, Texas, Pasadena, Beaumont, College Station, Sugarland, you're in that 2%. Wind threat goes from Dallas down to Houston and down to Corpus Christi, and then the hail threat also as well. So a very low end threat day. Everybody may not see severe weather, but there is a decent little chance of some severe weather, once again, for tomorrow. So we'll see. They may go slight with it or something like that. We'll kind of see how things hang out tomorrow, but that's pretty much it. So I'll put the snow map back up here again for you guys tomorrow. Or for tomorrow, I'll put the snow back up so you guys can see one more time before we kind of get ready to wrap stream up. I'll get some more questions answered for you guys, and then we'll call it an evening here. Let me get this whole view pulled back up. KCMO, not going to see any snow today. No, not this week. Maybe next week. Maybe next week. Yeah, bro, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. I did see the upgrade on that. Thank you guys for all the follows, by the way. All the love, all the support. I appreciate it very, very, very much. Y'all are awesome, awesome, awesome. Connecticut, very low accumulation of snow, at least this week. Next week, you may see a little bit more. I think you guys may get lucky if you get a dusting up there. So it's going to be wild, guys. It's going to be wild. I am jealous. Like, I literally was looking at this last week, and I'm like, oh, we may get a snow event in the Ohio Valley. I would get to be in that. Nope, just kidding. You guys want to know where I'm at? I'm not going to show you, like, my exact location, but do you want to know where I'm at? Down here. Literally down there. At the bottom of the screen where nothing's going to happen. I absolutely love that. Gonna be fun. Gonna be lots of fun. Georgia, rain. You guys are going to get some heavy rainfall. And actually, let me look at that. Where is my rainfall at? Yeah, this might be a problem next week. Hopefully we do not get 13 inches of rainfall. That would be awful. Yeah, hopefully we don't get 13 to 15 inches of rainfall down there. I think that's a little overdone. Once again, GFS will do that sometimes, but the signal is there for very, very heavy rainfall across this area. This is going to be all wintry precip, so scratch this out. This is where we're looking at. I'll do more talk on this in my video tomorrow for you guys, but this looks to be, like I said, where our higher rainfall will be at for next week. So this should start on Monday. Yeah, there it is on Monday. We may even get some ice in northern Arkansas. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this sets up next week. Because, like I said, GFS going a little bit further to the north with the freeze line, as typical, where the Euro keeping it more snowy. So we'll have to see which model wins. I don't know if the Icon is doing it either. Icon wants all snow for all of Kentucky. Interesting. We'll see if the GFS is being the outlier this time again. Yeah, North Carolina, no winter weather anytime soon, at least in the Raleigh area. Yeah, it's going to be very low, though, Jan. I would think if you may get lucky with an inch to two. It looks like the moisture may still be just further to the east. We'll kind of have to see how that plays out, but it's very possible. Yeah, this is heavy rain down in the south of the Gulf. Lots of heavy rainfall. You guys will definitely be warmer, too warm for it to snow down there, at least on this go around. So yeah, Oklahoma guys, you know, there's a chance you could get a little flurry or two, maybe a little dusting of snowfall on Monday across Oklahoma. We'll see how this plays out. Once again, I really like to wait on these snow events, especially I know Monday doesn't seem that far away, but like with this snow event, I don't typically get on and start like forecasting and really giving out a forecast to you guys with something still 5 days out. So when we get towards tomorrow night and Sunday, if things continue to trend the way they're trending, then absolutely we'll get on here and we'll go more in depth on it. But right now we got to get through this first major winter storm before we get to the next one. So once again on the screen here, guys, this is snowfall between now and Sunday afternoon, and this is all legit. This is going to happen. So if you don't believe this, then I guess you'll just have to wait until you wake up Sunday morning or Saturday morning and you see a foot of snowfall in your backyard. But once again, I'll circle here. This is going to be our higher total of snowfall. Excuse me. Anywhere from 8 to about, I'd go 18 inches of snow, 8 to 18 in here. The purple is going to be looking as of right now 6 to 10 with some higher pockets of 12 in there. And then outside of that, they're in the light blue to dark blue, 3 to 5, 1 to 3. So you guys can get the gist of who's going to see the higher totals and where this is going to go at. So yeah, it's snowing in Iowa. Oh, absolutely, it is snowing in Iowa. That's for sure. Is Texas going to get snow before 2026? We'll see. I want to see how our MJO phases continues through as we go into December and into January, but we could possibly, we'll see. I'm not going to say for sure yet on that because it's literally, still far out. Excuse me. Yeah, this is missing KC as of right now. Yes, yeah, you guys should be fine. So y'all guys, I hope y'all enjoy it. Like I said, I'm jealous. I'm going to be sitting here watching y'all's pictures and stuff come in, so I'll be keeping y'all updated. Like I said, make sure y'all, if you haven't followed my YT channel, make sure y'all do that. Go over there and head over there and sub. It means a lot. And then make sure y'all also hop in the Discord. Hop in our Discord. That way you can send your pictures and all. When we get on here tomorrow and do some a little bit of streaming, we'll show them on the stream. I'd love to see you guys. What you guys got? I was trash right now. LOL. I bet it is. I bet it's a mess. So. Alright, my lovely peoples. Well, I'm going to let y'all go for the evening. If there's anything drastic changes or updates in modeling around 9 o'clock tonight, I will post another video. We'll probably have another live stream. I might do what's tomorrow? Saturday, so I might do an early live stream tomorrow. If not, it'll probably be around this time tomorrow again. I'll definitely have videos out tomorrow morning for you guys. So, once again, other than that, we're going to let y'all go. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for all the gifts. All follows Weather Team. Thank y'all as well. Hope y'all like the new stream format on TikTok. It'll be something to get a little bit used to, but I think it's pretty cool. So, other than that, y'all stay safe. Safe travels. Don't go out in it if you don't have to go out in it. Make a snowman for me. Send me pictures, and I'll see y'all back in here again tomorrow.